Last year, I was able to have my best financial year ever. I earned the most I ever had, and my investments grew by the largest amount yet, and I'm thankful to be in this position. But it hasn't been without a lot of trial and error, that's for sure. Today, I want to share with you some of the key things I've done to help me get to this position so you can put the same things into practice to achieve the same results. Some of these will require a shift in mindset and can be challenging to get your head around. But if you can shift your way of thinking and master these next steps, you'll drastically improve your financial situation this next year. So here is how to make this year your best financial year ever. First is perhaps the most important of them all, is that you need to escape the time for money trap. This isn't the easiest, so let's tackle it first. One of the most popular buzzwords you've probably heard of is passive income. This is probably one of the biggest myths out there in terms of making money, because it's honestly very rare that income is actually passive. Passive implies you do no work and then you get income, which in a dream world we would all love. But 99% of the time, that passive income has come as a result of hard work or work put in previously, and that's what you need to shift into. Think of it like planting an apple tree. You dig the hole, plant the seed and water it and wait years before it bears fruit. But once it's grown, it produces apples year after year, even if you do very little to maintain it. You put in the work first and then enjoy the fruits of your labor. I learned these lessons pretty early on, which is what has had a knock-on effect for me later in life. One example is when I sold jewelry online. I was making over £1,000 in sales over the weekend while I was off on days out or holidays. This was at my peak with the business, but I was getting that pretty regularly for some time. But that only came because I previously put in the work sourcing the products, building the website, marketing and so on. And I'd still have to pack and send the orders. But when you wake up to 5 products being ordered or £500 while you're off for a day at the beach, a light bulb moment goes off in your head. And this triggered me in changing the way I ran my web design business. When I first started in my early 20s, my thought process was to charge a one-off fee for building a website. At the time, this was roughly £1,500, which was great. But let's say I build 10 websites in a year. That's £15,000. That's a lot of websites you need per year to actually make a sustainable income. And that's not even taking into account things like your costs. But when I realized I could charge for things like website hosting, maintenance, search engine optimization, and marketing, I realized I could build recurring income through recurring services. That way, I could have £2,000 in recurring income coming in per month before ever needing to take on a project, which completely transformed my business. The difference with this one was I was providing value and still doing work on it, so it wasn't completely passive, but money was coming in on autopilot and it wasn't purely based on my time. If I'm working and trading 1 hour of my time for money, well, I've only got so many hours I can work in a day, so my earning capacity is always going to be limited. If you want to have serious money, the sooner you can shift to this way of thinking, the better. A huge trap for business owners and self-employed is they need to be working on the business and not in the business, which is really something I had to try and shift out of and still battle to do this day. A Rich Habits study by Tom Corley analysed the financial habits of 233 wealthy individuals over 5 years, and they found that 65% of millionaires had at least 3 income streams, 45% had 4 income streams, and 29% had 5 or more income streams. This means that the average millionaire isn't just relying on a paycheck. Instead, they create diversified income sources that continue to generate wealth even if one stream dies down. And this is what's helped me the most this last year. It's not like I've had one extreme income stream that's generated me money, but instead I've got loads of different income streams. I've got at least 5 with my web design business, and YouTube has at least another 5 for me. So I've essentially got 10 different streams of income which are all adding up, and they've helped me to have 5-figure months, and I'm still looking for more now. Now, I'm not saying you should quit your job and start a business, but perhaps there's something on the side you could add in to help your revenue streams. Make a list of how many you have and see which others you could slot in. I would sit down and look at everything I'm currently doing and work out how I could remove the time for money trade out of the picture, whether it's value-based pricing, recurring services, or create some form of passive product. And if I didn't feel like I could in my current role, I think about what skills I do have to apply to something more passive, because if you write a list, you've probably got way more skills than you realize. Now, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here and say the next thing you should do is try to be as lazy as possible. What I mean by this is that we've had a huge shift over the last couple of years towards automation. AI has become scarily good at most things. You only have to spend 10 minutes with ChatGPT and you'll have your mind blown at the possibilities. Having recently spoken to a friend of mine who's a senior software developer, he's told me how his workload is now about 10% of what it used to be because of AI. He's now essentially a code checker, making sure it does what it's supposed to. This means he can essentially get the same work output for 10% of the effort. Even for me, if I need to find a study or statistic for a video, I can ask ChatGPT to do hours of research for me in minutes. Although I definitely still need to fact check most of it, but still it definitely helps. If I hit a writing block or a code error in my website business, it will help me in seconds. The people who are going to win in a space are the ones who don't ignore AI, but learn how to use it to create their own unfair advantage. Sites like Zapier, which have been around for some time, can be used to automate a huge amount of tasks and link things together, which can save you so much time. So while I've been learning to make the most of AI to help with my workflow, which I'm still working on, automation can also play a huge part in investing too, which has also been a huge shift for me. And it's something I would implore you to do too. Rather than trying to time the market, picking the right time to invest, I have completely automated my investments. According to Richard Thaler, a Nobel Prize-winning behavioral economist, automation is one of the best tools to keep investors from making costly emotional mistakes. It stops you panic selling when the market drops instead of waiting for recovery, and it stops greed and the fear of missing out. It also stops something called overconfidence bias, because investors think they can time the market. But data from Vanguard shows that 88% of traders underperform long-term investors. Dalbar's quantitative analysis of investor behavior found that the average investor underperformed the S&P 500 by 4% per year due to bad timing. So you really need to get your timing right. What this has allowed me to do is just by making regular contributions. I don't just buy once and then wait for the stock market to go through its ups and downs. I buy consistently each month so I can take advantage of when the market's down. So if I was to buy a fund and it's £1,000 now, it will be £1,200 in a year's time. Instead of waiting the whole year for it to be £1,200, I can essentially buy at every dip along the way and cash in those profits. Some will be at higher and at lower point, but it'll average out through pound cost averaging, and it will give you much more consistent results. If you're looking for somewhere to do this, the sponsor of today's video, XTB, could be a huge help. If building wealth is on your list this year, you'll want a platform that makes investing simple, low cost, and effective, and that's where XTB comes in. They're a trusted fintech platform that offers stocks and ETFs. They've been around since 2002, and they've built a strong reputation in the industry. They've won multiple awards for their cutting-edge technology, top-tier research tools, and user-friendly platform. Whether you're a beginner looking for an easy way to start investing, or an experienced investor wanting to fine-tune your strategy, XTB has the tools to support your journey. One of XTB's biggest strengths is its low-cost approach to investing, help you keep more of your returns rather than losing them to excessive fees. With the recent launch of their ISA, investors now have the opportunity to maximize their tax-free investing potential, making it an ideal choice for those who want to build wealth efficiently. On top of that, XTB also offers high-interest accounts, so your money can keep working for you even when it's not actively invested. Beyond just offering a trading platform, XTB makes investing effortless with automated investing plans, allowing you to set up and grow your portfolio hands-free. Their mission for 2025 is simple: to help you make your money work, whether you prefer a passive long-term approach or like to actively manage your investments. If you're serious about maximizing your investments this year, check out XTB and click the link down below to start your journey today. The next thing that's really helped me is taking the mindset of today is better than tomorrow. The number one thing I see holding most people back is they just wait. They want to start a business, but they don't. They want to start investing, but they don't. The amount of times I've had an in-person conversation with someone who've said how interesting investing is and they want to get started, but they never take any action is crazy. When I speak to people, the most common comment I get is, I wish I'd started sooner. But procrastination in investing is such a common regret. A study of 4,000 adults found that nearly half have financial regrets, with 40% wishing they prioritized saving more when they were younger. The truth is, compounding rewards early starters. Investing early allows your money to grow exponentially over time. For instance, if you invested £1,000 at age 20 with an average annual return of 7%, that £1,000 could grow to approximately £13,000 by age 60. If you even invested just £100 per month at that age, you would have £262,000 by 60 for each £100 you invest in each month, which is mind-blowing. The truth is though, you probably aren't 20 with 40 years to wait. I certainly haven't got that time. And while you can pass that knowledge on to the next generation, the problem you have is, the longer you wait, the harder it is. So instead of delaying taking action, feeling like it's too late, having 5, 10 or 50 years still to go, you're a lot better than waiting until you have just a couple of years until retirement and you start jumping into panic mode. Those later years will be where you get more out of your wealth, and even renowned investor Warren Buffett accumulated a significant portion of his wealth later in life. The best time to start investing was yesterday. The next best time is today. By beginning your investment journey now, you can avoid future regrets and set the foundation for a financially secure future. Remember, it's not about timing the market, but time in the market that counts. It may look like I'm reaping the benefits now, and I am, but I've had periods where I've made barely anything, invested for years without returns, and I just kept earning money and getting it in there. And while I've been doing that, the next shift in my mindset that really helped me is prioritizing my SIP over my ISA. My ISA is still ahead of my SIP, which I don't really need. The big realization is deciding when you want to pay the tax. If you put money into an ISA, you're paying the tax now, rather than later. Don't think of the ISA as being tax-free and the SIP not. Think of it as when you want to pay the tax. By prioritizing my SIP, I'm not paying tax now, so my investments are growing an instant 25% more, or the 20% tax saving I would have had to pay an income tax, whichever way you look at it. That way, I'm the one taking advantage of the government bonus and growing that money I would have paid in tax. And even when I pay tax later, I'll be better off. I've made a calculator that can help you work this out in my Retire Early roadmap if you want to see for yourself. This has really helped my investments over the last 2 years because I'm getting 25% more into my accounts every time I deposit. To give you some actual numbers of my SIP account, here's my contributions in total. We can take out the employer one as that's already got the tax figure in it, which leaves me with £85,234 that I've contributed. From that total deposited, the government has added £21,308, which I just would have had to pay in tax. And that £21,000 also then is still growing with the stock market too, at 20% last year, which is incredible. You'll probably need much more than you need in retirement, so it's best to really start hammering that SIP for the future. And the last thing that really helped me is thinking long term and avoiding the noise. That's why I stress to automate investing and not just check your portfolio every day, as fun as it is. All checking your portfolio is going to do is cause you stress when it's down or encourage you to spend more when it's up, probably more than you should. There's always going to be the chance of the market crashing. If you listen to experts, the market will crash every week, and if they keep saying it when it eventually does, which is completely normal in the stock market, they can be right when it does. You need to free up your mental capacity so you aren't worrying about how the market's going to perform or when you need to buy, or even worrying about it full stop. We only have so many mental blocks of energy that we could put towards certain tasks in a day. Your time is far better spent making your income more efficient than worrying about trying to beat the market or stressed because you've taken higher risk investments than you should have. Even with something simple like a tech fund, is it really worth worrying about if the tech market will crash? Just buy diversified funds and let the power of compounding do the hard lifting for you. Trust me, I have made a lot of mistakes, and this is by far the easiest way to invest. If you want to double check you're on the right track, I've just released my biggest video ever, which goes through all of the steps of how to invest so you can double check you're on the right track. Hopefully you'll find that super helpful too, and I will catch you over there. Thanks.